Chapter 5, The Niven Chief Hunter. Andoni, San Diego. Piper was still unconscious, and the left side of her head was swollen. I touched her face and recoiled at the heat that was emanating from her body. How could she burn up so quickly? I moved out of her bedroom, and Laren hugged me. "Oh, please bring my baby back," she said. I kissed the top of her head. "Don't worry, my heart. She'll be all right," I said. "You know our Peeps. She's a fighter. She'll wake up soon. Gods, please let me be right." I left Laren and went to the town hall where I found the other elders of Niven waiting. They were no longer invisible. We acknowledged the trouble that we were in. If Elder Tala even breathed a word about our existence, the Emperor would come for us. We had no choice. We needed to send a party to capture the Elder. Nobody dared make a sound. Eyes watched me as though they were waiting for what I would do. I am the Chief Hunter in Niven. It was a title I inherited from the friend I lost during the first flood that Emperor McQuinn Stormaren brought to Niven. I abhorred him since then and have wanted to exact revenge from that day onward. But the Niven elders told me that I was being impulsive and that if I genuinely cared for everyone in this town, I would not be so rash and would rather listen to reason. So I did. I had lost a friend to the flood, but he would not be forgotten, especially after I was made the new chief hunter in his stead. But enough of these memories. I shook my head to drive away all of these thoughts. More pressing matters were at hand. As soon as I sat down, the questions started pouring in. What are we going to do now? Fighters, hunters. We need to fortify the mountains. We can't let it happen again. We should wait and not act out on impulse. Kill the Elder. Send a hunting party to track him down and kill him before he tells the Emperor. No, I mean the other Elder. He started all of this. How did he discover us? I'm sure someone leaked the information about our identity. Who is that boy? Why did Piper rush in to save him? It had become a ruckus. Everyone was speculating about the appearance of the Elder and the boy and what danger this would cause us. Quiet! I shouted. I didn't want to raise my voice, but I had to because everybody was panicking. I looked around me in disgust. We are all adults here. I will have none of your chatterings. The men stopped bickering one by one until the last word faded into silence. I must choose my words more carefully because divisiveness is not what Niven needs right now. There was much speculation milling around already, and I knew I must not do anything to fuel the suspicion among our group any further. Nivens, let us discuss. All eyes darted towards me as I spoke. Our secret has been discovered, and we are all in danger. There's nothing we can do about it now except to salvage what we still can. Romeo opened his mouth and dared to speak. Chief Hunter, if I may, let's deploy a hunting group to go after Elder Tala. I feel that is of utmost importance to us now. Of the 3 who are not Nivens among us, 2 have already been held captive. This leaves only the Elder now loose upon Akea. I nodded. Romeo was right. Raise arms, Romeo. Take 30 men with you, all of age, men of spears, arrows, and swords. Lead the group. I trust your strategies and skills could lead to his trail. Do so with great urgency. Romeo nodded. The others gave their assent to the plan too. It seemed like a sound one. If we could contain Elder Tala, then we could still be safe. You have your leave, Romeo. Please be careful and send word every chance you get, I said. I will, Chief Hunter, he said, standing up. 2 others joined him at the door. At least that problem would be resolved in Romeo's capable hands. We have to get to the bottom of this? Bombay asked. He was younger than I, but his face bore more scars than mine. Yes, that's what I want too. Is the other Elder up? Bring him in, I said. The tent flaps opened, and Elder Man was pushed inside onto a chair in the middle of the room. What do you want with us? I asked. Elder Man looked concerned. I thought I clearly spelled it out. The first time I came here, I was rallying the ghosts to join us in the rebellion against the Emperor, but nobody heeded. Do you think that I didn't know? I was almost certain about your existence, he said. Niven lost his temper and raised his left arm, slapping the back of Elder Man's head. I raised my hand, and the Niven stopped, but his face was tightly drawn. Did you know what you did to this town? If the Emperor were to come for us, you would be known as the man who handed us to him on a silver platter, and our descendants would forever curse your name. Elder Man winced. That was not my intention, Chief Hunter, if you may allow me to address you like that. I heard from outside, he said in a meek voice. I was seeking a partnership between the elders of Niven and the Elders Guild of Akea Mainland. Together we stand a better fighting chance against the Emperor. I squinted and shook my head. Listen to me. How many generations have passed since you were living a peaceful life? Do you want to spend the rest of your lives hiding behind your power? I'm giving you a chance to change it all, Elder Man urged. Another Niven raised his hand, and I was quick to stop him this time. Don't, Gani. Gani looked at me as if he wanted to argue. Instead, he lowered his clenched fist. Elder Man flinched when he heard my voice, not out of fear, I suspect, but because of the coldness that coated it. I looked around. This man is offering us a chance to change our ways. There is nothing to change. Your gray skin. Elder Man shouted. This is not how nature works. Your skin color speaks of your shame, of your cowardice, of hiding inside your tree houses. What are the stories that you will pass on to your descendants? That when Akea was revolting against its tyrant, you hid behind your powers and shuddered? That when a plea for help was sent your way, you chose to shut your ears from Akea's cries? Oh, how the valiant blood of the Nivens have died with the slow fading of the color of your skin. The elder didn't finish his sentence. I smacked him on the head, and he almost flew sideways. When he looked back at me, I almost felt sorry for the old man whose entire face was now covered with bruises. We must kill him, Chief Hunter. What are we waiting for? This man dared insult us in our own land. Are we to let it pass? Give me the order, Chief Hunter, and this man will not bother us anymore. Silence. I shouted. Was it the right thing to do? Should we pair up with the elders? We did not need this rebellion. Now that Elder Tala knew our secret, though, we needed to come up with a stand. The only thing left for us to do was come up with a decision that was fitting, given the circumstances. What's your power? I asked. Elder Man seemed to think it over before telling me, I can talk to animals. I heard gasps from all around me. He can destroy us. If he commands the elephants to trample us, we will be wiped out in hours. Did you see the snakes? What if he can bring the last dragon here? What last dragon are you talking about? That's just a myth. No, it isn't. The last great black egg is out there, and if he can talk to animals. What about beasts? Hubbubs? Can he talk to hubbubs? Everybody panicked upon hearing hubbubs and dragons, and I understood them. Hubbubs were as big as horses, but unlike horses, they were not as tame. They were known to prey on people, but ironically, hubbubs were not easily coerced into leaving the forests. If they were not taunted, they would refrain from attacking people. Legend has it that they no longer remembered Akeen flesh's taste and instead preyed on small animals. On the other hand, I was surprised that the last great black egg stories had not vanished. I stood up. Men, please, I started. If we're not going to think rationally, we will have no solution to all of this. Everyone grew silent. I said I could talk to animals, but I never said I could control them, Elder Man pointed out. True. If he could command the animals, we would have had a hard time tying him up and holding him prisoner in our town. I needed to talk to the Nivens alone. There would be arguments, and the discussion was going to be a long one. I had no plans to let the elder hear what each of us had to say. Bombay, take the elder back to his prison cell. Make sure he's tied up and guarded by at least 10 men, I said. 10 may have been too many, but I had to ensure he would not escape. If there were snakes around, or any other animal for that matter, The elder might find his freedom by talking to his friends. I could not let that happen. Bombay obeyed and gruffly took the elder by his tied hands. We watched in silence as Elder Mahan was led out of the town hall. As soon as the tent flaps closed, I braced myself to listen to my people. True enough, they started yelling and cursing even louder than before the elder was escorted in. If I had not been a patient man, I would have sent them all to the dungeons. It went for hours. Each Niven listened to arguments brought to the table. In the end, we knew that a decision had to be made. But no side relented. Most Nivens argued that we had kept our secrets for far too long, and now was not the time to form an allegiance with anyone even if we would be fighting for the same causes. It was more crucial now. I had to raise the question and let the majority decide. Those in favor of partnering with the Elders Guild, raise your right hand, I said. There was no other way. Our power may be strong, but we were not invincible. We would need stronger partners if we were to battle with the Emperor. If the Elder did not return to the Guild soon, doubts would stir, and we might end up at war with them for a far lesser cause. Everybody's eyes seemed to be confused. I waited for a hand to shoot up in the air, but none did. I breathed out in relief to find that no one favored the Elder. We could not rush on a decision if our lives and everything that we fought for hung in the balance. This is essential. In the coming days, we have to come up with, I paused, searching for the right words to say. A better decision. When no one said a word, I dismissed them. The receding footsteps of my fellow Nivens kept me company as I remained glued to my seat. Nobody would sleep well in their bunks tonight. Something bothered me even more, though. The options were either to kill the Elder or partner with their guild. What if, among us, one decided to slit the Elder's throat in the middle of the night? I feared this, which was why I asked 10 men to guard him. It was not purely to protect us from the Elder. I also offered him protection from us. The tree house that was destroyed earlier was now being repaired. However, nothing could be done with the tree, it had been uprooted, and in a matter of days, the leaves would begin to dry up. I watched as Nivens worked together to put up another house in another tree that was yet to be taken. Nivens had to carefully pick one out because they had to be sure that the tree would live even with the house built atop it. This one was about 50 moon turns, and its trunk was more than ready to welcome a family. If only tree runners were still visiting Nivadan, it would have been easier to pick one because they could immediately identify the right tree that is ready for the taking. Taking is what we call it when a Niven claims a tree as his. No one else would then be allowed to set foot inside the treehouse unless permission was given. But those days when the tree runners helped Nivens build tree houses are long gone. Since the tree runners were banished to Sinista, they were no longer the same mild beings that they once were. It was as though the evil province of Sinista had corrupted them, tainting their thoughts. I walked back to my treehouse. Tired as I was, I needed to see Piper again. She was my only child, and I had to convince Laren, and myself, that she would be fine. I climbed the treehouse in seconds. A lamp lit Piper's room in the corner. The boy, Kino, was there sitting on a chair beside her bed. He looked worried, and he had better be. My little Piper saved his life. I am proud of my peeps. She is feisty, but her heart is pure. She would never let anybody be harmed like that. When she grows up, I am confident she will turn out to be a fine young woman. Kino looked at me and stood up. Master Andoni, he said. I'm really sorry about this. I shook my head. Sit down, my boy, I said. It was not his fault. We saw what he did, helping Elder Man so that the other elder would not destroy the treehouse. It's been a long day. You should rest too, I told him. He was, after all, Peeps's friend. Kino shook his head. I can't leave her like this, he said. She saved me. At least he had honor. Then I remembered what I wanted to ask him. What are you doing here? Kino looked me in the eye. He seemed to have needed to draw courage before speaking out again. Master Andoni, will you take my mother and me into your household? I wished I had never asked.